Hello, my name is Ellie, also known as Shrimp, and I am starting the Artist Way. I just finished week one, and it's been a journey, and I've accepted that it's going to be a journey. For context, I am a full-time first-year medical student who is also trying to put out an album. I just put out an EP, which I am very glad I have closed that creative chapter in my life. I feel like it was very cathartic and mindful to finally take the time to produce the last of my songs, record, put it out, and with this year, I want to keep up my momentum while also finding a balance in my day-to-day life with school, being creative, forming relationships with people, doing my responsibilities, and all that. The theme of week one is recovering a sense of safety. I think I delayed putting out my EP for as long as I did because I wanted to continue feeling this safety and security of this is the body of work that I have right now and I like it. And even though I like sharing it in a live setting, the idea of taking the next step and releasing it seemed very daunting because I'm not that well versed in producing stuff on my own. I put it off for a while because I kept on closing myself into this box of if it doesn't come out the way that I'm exactly wanting it to, then it's not worth it to try. And I finally got over the hump of the process of making it sound the way it does will open up a lot more possibilities and encourage me to adapt and work with what I have. So I'm very proud of the work that I did on this EP, but now the idea of continuing that body of work and developing my ideas further has me blocked. So I really do want to get out of this I really do want to get out of this locked mindset and feel safe to explore again, because I think it'll help me personally. I think it'll help me academically. When I was writing music actively, that was probably the best that I've felt in school, but that was during my senior year of undergrad. So I want to recover that sense of identity and feeling safe enough to be outgoing. I did all the prompts that were given to me during week one of this workbook. Task one is the morning pages. I did only do them 5 out of the 7 days, but I noticed during the 5 days that I did it, I felt a lot more stable. I felt like there was an outlet where I could vocalize what I was feeling or like process stuff that was happening throughout the week. On the days that I didn't, I felt like my time was not mine, and I was just like at the mercy of my schedule, which, you know, being in med school, that's just kind of how it is sometimes. But yeah, having those feelings and then comparing it to the days where I did feel very like stable and structured, I do want to make more of an effort of like waking up early or like actually staying up when I wake up early and doing some morning pages. And yeah, I want to see how my mood changes and how my anxiety throughout the weeks changes, because this is going to be a long block. It is only week 3 of 9, but we hit the ground running, so there we go. Julia Cameron also encourages you to write down affirmations and blurts. Blurts being the like self-deprecating things or self-sabotaging things that you say to yourself when you think about your creativity, and then an affirmation is like a positive twist on that. So my first blurt is, I am incapable of making another creative project while in school. I feel like inherently I have been telling myself like, oh, like it's med school, like you don't have time to do anything. But like during my senior year of undergrad, like granted, like I think I felt a lot freer during that time because I was only enrolled part-time. So I had a lot more availability to just like sit down, write, do things, perform, whatnot. But at the same time, like the demand of me, I have to remember the demand of me was still significant, because I was doing like my applications and I was doing like my honors thesis and my capstone projects and working and also performing. So like despite the fact that I am part-time, despite the fact that I'm full-time now, I feel like I've demonstrated that I can have balance in my life regardless of how hectic it is. So my affirmation in response to the blurt is, I create an abundance and balance of all aspects of my life. My second blurt is, I am afraid of being honest, knowing that the people in my current life actually listen to me. I felt a lot freer during my senior year because I was like processing all these emotions and experiences that I had, and I kept telling myself, well, like none of the people from these experiences really care about what I'm doing, so I can just do whatever I want. And I did. And now I'm happy to say that I'm at a point in my life where the people around me are very supportive, and care about me as a whole person. But I think inherently by knowing that, I'm like, well, like, do I have to, like, do I have to think about censoring myself more? Do I have to, like, think about fitting into, like, what people want more? But the whole point of me writing music was to create a space for me to feel safe and talk about what I wanted. And so, and that shouldn't be compromised because I have healthier people, or I have healthier relationships in my life. And so the affirmation in response to that blurt is, I am a fearless storyteller with a strong support system and captive audience. My third blurt is, no one cares about my work. And then my affirmation in response to that is, those who need me will find me. This goes again with like the thesis of Shrimp, that I've been like trying to uphold for a while. Again, I started writing because I wanted a space to just be myself and talk about the stuff that was bothering me. And I hope that me, like, making music or, like, you know, following my passions and my dreams, like, can encourage people to be like, hey, like, I can do that too. And I can try, and that's okay. It's okay to try. So, yeah, I hope that those who need me will find me. And turning that into an affirmation, I know that those who need me will find me. My fourth and final blurt is, it's not worth my time to do music and create again. To be fully transparent, I failed my last set of exams, so I have to remediate one of my exams from last block, which does not feel great. It really, like, made me think about, like, how I'm prioritizing my time and, you know, how I want to move forward from here. But the reason why I finally, like, picked up my own copy of The Artist's Way is that, again, I felt the most academically fulfilled and engaged while I was writing music and, like, being present and participating in class and following all of my dreams and having balance in all aspects of my life. And so I do really want to reach that point again. So my affirmation in response to this last blurt is, creation helps heal me and makes me whole again. The second prompt, or the second task this week, was to take myself on an artist date. For my artist date, I went to my local thrift store. I went thrifting at the end of last block, but I haven't gone by myself in a while. And it was really fun to, like, look through the aisles, see all the different details on the clothing that I didn't see while I was at the mall during winter break. You know, thinking about, like, the, like, places that I would wear this piece of clothing if I were to buy it. And yeah, it was nice. It was a nice and mindful experience, just being able to like look at something. I think thrifting is very mindful for me because I've gotten to the point with it where I can trust my intuition a lot more. Like, I can look at a piece of clothing and if, like, imagine where I would wear it, and think about whether or not that situation is realistic for my regular life. And if it is, I'll buy it. So I only bought 2 things from the thrift store. I notice that I purchase things with 2 people in mind, like my performing self and my day-to-day self. And that's just something I want to be mindful of, because when I first started performing as Shrimp, I was like, no, like these are specifically Shrimp outfits, these are specifically like Ellie outfits. But then after a term of performing, but not necessarily feeling academically present and engaged, I thought like, oh, I have to meld the 2 worlds together and understand that I am the same person, just in different environments. And that really helped me be more comfortable with putting myself out there in class, putting myself out there with music and performing. I'm gonna try to be mindful of this pattern, but for now, because there's not a lot of opportunities for Shrimp to come out yet, Ellie and Shrimp will be 2 separate people, at least for now. So this is for Ellie. This is a brown dress with spaghetti straps and this really pretty green floral pattern. I just really liked the way that the pattern like was placed along the dress. Like it aligns with this like wrap portion on the bust, and then like the lines straight down kind of look like pleating, which I really enjoy. And then you have the green on the straps. I do have to go in and sew the straps on a bit more securely. I have started a mend pile because so many of my clothes have holes now. We'll see when I get to that. And then what I got for Shrimp is this pink top with fringe, and I thought it would really be good on stage. One, because even though it is like a tank top, the length of the top is long enough to cover my bust, and it's a type of fabric that clings instead of like slips around, so I feel a lot more secure wearing it. And also just like the movement of the fringe itself, like I just think is very beautiful, and I think it would be good for stage pictures. And yeah, the third task for this week is the Monster Hall of Fame. And this is a list of people who have contributed to negative core beliefs that you have. Making this list, I realized how much I still hold on to, like, things from my past. Some of them I have healed, but others reside in the back of my mind more than I would like. Monster A is a girl from my old elementary school who either by us playing into it or like other people imposing it on us, it always felt like there was a need to be in competition, and like there was only room for like one person who could sing. Obviously I realize now that that's not the case, and we served very different audiences, and that's okay. But you know, I didn't realize how much it had affected me until I like started genuinely like performing again, because I feel like after like elementary, middle school, I kind of allowed myself to take a back seat where it was like people can know that I sing, but people can't know that I care, because if people don't know that I care, then there's no competition. And I was fine with, you know, people being like, oh, like, this is so surprising, like, we never knew this before. And like once I started being a lot more like upfront about the fact that like I like performing, I like writing music, I like singing, as I started to like be in those spaces more, I kept on getting like intimidated and like competitive in my head, whenever someone would say those same things, which should not be the case, because again, there's plenty of room for art to exist from multiple different people, and you know, like art will serve different things, for different people and for different reasons, and so yeah, I just didn't like this like insecure elementary school mind that I get into sometimes, because, you know, sharing space with people, it should be an opportunity for like community. Monster B comes from high school, and it comes from a friend who, in hindsight, wasn't really like the best friend I could have had, especially with, again, after elementary, middle school, like telling myself like to take a back seat and kind of be quiet about the things that make me me. This friend kind of instilled this shame for the things that I liked, shame for my references or not having enough references. At the time, like entering into high school, like a lot of the stuff that I was engaging with was like the radio or like Tumblr or like One Direction or Disney or whatever. It felt like the things that I enjoyed were never enough, or were things that I should be quiet about. They also instilled like bitter attitudes and judgments into me. And because we were judging others, because I felt like I had to judge order, because I felt like I had to judge others in order to be close friends with them, it inherently made me think like I can't be like the others who try, and I can't be like the others who we judge. And I feel like that bitterness stuck with me until college, where like people who were just doing their thing, being brave, being creative, I felt like I had to nitpick at what they were doing and how they were doing it. The judging is not something that I like to do, but that shame of liking what I like is still in me, and I don't like that. While I was writing my EP, I made it a point to specifically listen to the things I was listening to in like middle school, like freshman year of high school, before I had met this friend, and before I really had to curate and develop my outward taste in order to accommodate others. And by listening to like those songs while writing, I felt very free. I felt like I had gotten into touch with what I like again, and like formulas and melodies that I enjoy and like to sing. But since like finishing that EP and finishing like recording it, I feel like I'm at a weird point right now where I'm like inherently thinking about like what other people would like, or what other people would like say is worth their time. And again, that's just a box that I don't want to be put in, and it's a box that doesn't allow me to make things that I like. The other prompts that I did were the old champions of my creative self-worth. That was a lot of my teachers and my parents, who like, my champions are my parents who like supported me throughout my life and like really wanted me to continue singing and pursuing music, like driving me to guitar lessons and like sharing songs with me that they think I would enjoy, or think that my voice would sound well with. And my teachers throughout my entire academic career, who really like fostered my creativity, encouraged me and like taught me how to develop my ideas, and found ways to like feature my voice and my heritage. My elementary school music teacher, she found ways to incorporate me singing Tagalog into our Christmas pageants. My high school art teacher was like the first person to listen to any song that I had produced on my own. And yeah, my and my high school English teacher, like, would sit down and, talk through my essay ideas with me, help create an outline with literally just me talking at her, and vocalizing my thoughts. And she's like, there's your essay. You already have it up here. Now here's the framework. You know what to do. And yeah, it was just really affirming to have all of these people show me that my creative power has always been within me. And, not only like encouraging me to use my talents, but also finding ways to develop my talents, and giving me opportunities to showcase them. So I'm very thankful for all the creative champions in my life. And I have to hold on to what they've said and remember that. The final task that I did this week was the imaginary lives. If you had 5 other lives to lead, what would you do in each of them? And so for my lives, I said if I wasn't in school, I would be a performing artist, a director, a painter, a vlogger, and a life coach. And, I just like the idea of like all of these being like sharing things with people. Like, I think in each way, like I can demonstrate like my insights and my growth, and hopefully like inspire other people through that. So yeah, with these imaginary lives in mind, I do want to think about like incorporating aspects of them into my current life, and see what happens. Overall, this week was an okay start to the artist journey. I've definitely written a lot more than I have in the past couple of months. It's been fun to just like have my journal open while I'm at my desk and have like a landing page for all the random thoughts in my head. Being able to have a thought come up while I'm doing something else, put it down, and then continue doing the thing I was originally doing. I've been doing a lot of like junk journaling. I've been dressing up more. I've been doodling. Even just like in the schoolwork that I'm doing, I feel like I'm a lot more engaged and present. A lot of the stuff that we do, because it's med school, like there's a real person on the other side of it all. And so being able to imagine this real person coming into clinic or coming into the emergency department, and all the history and experience that they come in with, I feel like this being creative is helping me be a better medical student. Granted, the week's been hard. With schoolwork, I did end up getting behind just because I kind of lost steam at the end of this week, and I'm still behind now. But I think I'm in a better mindset and mood for the week moving forward. So we will see how everything goes.